Welcome, credit union community. You are back with me, your host, Joshua Barkley. I am with the president and CEO of NCU-ISAO, Brian Hinze. Brian, I gotta ask, I've struggled with the name. Talk to me about the funny name. What is the story behind it?
It's funny, like I'm dating myself or I'm aging myself, but I always like to use the analogy of like Back to the Future. Doc Emmett Brown like hit his head on the sink or the toilet, came up with the idea for the flux capacitor. That is not how this happened. I didn't bonk my head and say, what a great name for a business. NCU-ISAO, no one will know how to say it. It's going to be fantastic. No, actually, the NCU stands for National Credit Union, but the ISAO part is really, really important. It stands for Information Sharing Analysis Organization, and that's directly tied to an executive order dating back to 2015, expanding this notion of cybersecurity information sharing and collaboration amongst the private sector that already existed through information sharing analysis centers, commonly referred to as ISACs. So what that basically means is where you traditionally had to be representing an entire sector like IT or financial services, ISAOs allow collaboration and information sharing in subsectors or for unrepresented sectors. So there's like a sports ISAO, there's a faith-based ISAO. In our case, we're representing specifically information sharing around cyber threats, fraud, risk management, operations, all that type of stuff, specifically for credit unions.
So, credit unions, they are the lifeblood of our economy, and they are being challenged by threats. And when I looked into some of the emerging threats, it kind of gave me goosebumps because I did not realize the sophistication of the threat actors out there. It's getting wild. Talk to me about some of the emerging threats, maybe the trends and some of the things that you're seeing that are creating those goosebumps on my body.
Yeah, if it wasn't already a difficult lift, to maintain a resilient, secure organization with all of the threats coming in from different angles around phishing, ransomware, and let's be honest, third-party risk, right? Something that credit unions use widely to compete, right? It makes good business sense, operational sense, financial sense. All of this introduces these layers of risk that I think most of us are familiar with. It can cause data breaches, impacts to member data, things like that. Now we add artificial intelligence, and in our fall survey, which is something that we do every October, we recently uncovered, and for the first time ever, artificial intelligence jumped right up behind phishing as one of the biggest focuses for enterprise security. So is artificial intelligence by itself a threat? Yes and no, but in the context of your question, it's really allowing threat actors to scale and improve their tactics to perpetuate the same types of attacks that they have in the past, just getting better at it, making themselves more efficient, collecting information and finding new angles. So artificial intelligence is indeed becoming a vehicle to perpetuate some old school threats, among other things.
And you're learning about these before everybody else, correct? Because your organization is sort of the vigilant arm of the credit union industry. But how does it work in terms of, it's you and 500 guys in a smoky boardroom with cigars and scotch? How is the information being shared?
Part of it is us going out and looking at this vast tidal wave of information that's available at any given time, just even on the topic of information security and all the little pieces and offshoots of that, from risk management, vulnerabilities, fraud, all this different stuff. So we look at this sort of universe on a daily basis, and we try to find the stuff that's really critical for our stakeholders, the credit union industry, to know, and we disseminate out that relevant information to them in a couple of different ways. But the other piece is, Department of Homeland Security has an old saying, see something, say something, right? So in that case, we expect our members, when they're seeing a new threat emerging or a consistent threat emerging, to report that back to us. We have the ability to correlate that across the multiple shares within the community, create actionable intelligence, which is really, really important. Just don't just tell me there's a problem. Tell me how to resolve this. How do I keep it from showing up in my environment? And then we further disseminate that out to our stakeholders through some different means as well.
You mentioned members. So how do I become a member? I'm a credit union leader listening to this, and I'm like, I really want to be a part of this smoky boardroom with cigars and information. How do they do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest way if you're just like ready to go and this sounds great. We use a very fair asset-based pricing model so that smaller organizations have a more affordable dues model than larger organizations, but all equally, affordable to scale. You get unlimited stakeholders. So we recognize membership at the credit union level. So your VP of risk, your CIO, and your network security analyst, if this all applies, they can all participate once the organization joins. If you want to learn more, the great place to start is to see our robust list of membership benefits over at NCU-ISAO.org/membership. You'll see all that we have to offer, a couple options to learn more, set up an appointment to really see this stuff in action with one of our members benefits briefings, or head over to /contact at the same website and just use the subject line join in the contact and we'll get you started. It's real easy to join and get going right away.
Once again, I'll reiterate what Brian said. You can head over to NCU-ISAO.org. We have the links queued up for you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and bye-bye.